Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final bonus episode of the season for the Section 214 of BC Lions podcast. And I'm here with I'm the host Ascent with
Everyone.
with
Hello.
my friend Hammer and JS. And yeah, it was boy, dude, we got a lot to talk about outside of the our last answering our last six questions, right, of the wheel. And it was. I
Been
did
quite the
say
week.
that. Yeah, I did say that I was going to cover the Winnipeg Montreal game because I had a feeling that Winnipeg was going to win that game, but boy, did they win that in probably the most
Rigged.
off the
Kidding.
wall way. Uh,
Not saying it was rigged, but it felt like divine intervention.
that's that's what I said too. I mean, Hammer like wasn't around to watch the whole game, but he just judging by the reactions on Twitter and social media.
Yeah, so I didn't really have any eyes on the game because I was working on paper most of the day, and I checked Instagram. So shout out CFL Mixtapes, pretty good account. Says,
Mhm.
"What the fuck? At God, how much did the Bombers pay you? That's one of the most scripted, rigged games ever." Like, and I checked Twitter to see the highlight of the wind kind of influencing the punts at the end. I couldn't believe it.
Influencing is a
Yeah.
charitable,
Yeah,
nice euphemism to describe
like
it. It just came completely out of nowhere.
yeah, and the thing, before that field goal happened, I was thinking like, oh, Winnipeg. My conspiracy theory was that Winnipeg is intentionally losing just to try and get like an easy playoff win against BC from their perspective. Like,
Get themselves feeling good going into the West Final, but then out of completely nowhere, the wind started blowing, and the Montreal punter, I guess, got in his head. In fairness, if you have a bunch of leaves blowing in your face, he whiffed on
and
the punt,
flags.
and
I thought flags and just general detritus everywhere.
it's not the first time a Vancouver sportsman has been screwed over by the Leafs.
But
Oh,
oh
okay, good
no.
one.
Okay, anyways, yeah, I'll just I guess I'll just get right into the game that was. I mean, it was just
Just want
I
to
was
say, did both of you watch the entire game?
I watched the
Um,
entire game.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did. I was dog sitting three dogs for a lot of it, so I didn't
Oh,
have the ability to pay super close attention, but I did watch it.
yeah, I was probably the most attentive because I was doing note taking the entire time, and
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
just doing
working
the
on a
normal
paper,
thing.
but yeah, the box
Yeah,
score really pissed me off. So we get started.
And
yeah,
at
no
least it saved
kidding.
us some time that we didn't have to watch the Calgary Saskatchewan game, and we're recording at about 5:30 on Saturday before the Canucks game starts. So that's
Hmm.
good. Rather than having to wait until realistically, if Winnipeg had lost the game, we'd be recording this at like 10:30 at night.
Ten
So
thirty at night. Yeah, I mean, and I was foregoing another movie night with a friend, with another friend of mine just to for this. So
in the
uh
end, it didn't happen.
yeah, so yeah, we have early recorded episode as I wanted, but
There you go.
so
Not the way we would have
yes,
wanted it though.
no, but
The
yeah,
way it
so
happened was
This league,
torture.
man.
this
I
league
know.
is
That's why that's
crazy,
got to be,
and
as much as that was crazy and frustrating, that is why you love the CFL. You never know what's going to happen. And something crazy like that, we're going to be talking about that for years to come, especially if, Winnipeg, as a result of this win, wins the West Final, goes on to the Grey Cup. We're going to be talking about this for years.
and wins
Yeah.
that, yeah,
Just a
uh,
single, gust of wind for 30, 40 seconds had such a huge impact.
yeah. Well,
That's almost poetic.
yeah, very poetic. I mean, Hammer, you called them the CFL Chiefs, and I think that's very
Hmm.
apt.
Yeah,
Uh,
they BS their way to a win every game.
this,
Nine of 10 wins, or
they have a
I,
struggle for for a decent amount of that game, and just it didn't matter.
And
They
just,
still ended up
they
winning.
still got it done.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll just start out with the first quarter. Montreal had the kickoff here, and well, Montreal had another kind of situation where it was Fajardo having the first half, and then Alexander. Well, in this game, it was Fajardo with the first half and half of the third quarter, and then it was Alexander the rest of the way. But yeah, it didn't mean nothing game, and yet I still think props to Montreal for
For
having the
showing
lead a
up and
bunch of
making it
times, and
interesting.
yeah, they didn't lie down and die. They didn't like really act like it was a mean nothing game. Uh,
Well,
so
not
and it was
necessarily. It could potentially have impacted their Grey Cup opponent. So in some ways, it was not a mean nothing game.
possibly, yeah, but we'll see about that. So
There
yeah,
you go.
they have Fajardo almost threw an interception like right off the bat in the first play of the game, but the defender bobbled the ball. I mean, I'll get to an attempted interception that was reminiscent of our past two games too, but that happened
Oh
in fourth
yes.
quarter. So yeah, so two, yeah, I called it an exciting 2-and-out because yeah, it was just a deep overthrow and almost an interception. So Whitehead returned the punt to a 24, and then yeah, there was a bunch of plays by Dembski, and Lalo had a really good game in this one too. I don't want to forget that either. Yeah, Winnipeg made a bunch of good plays, but um, Kalaros got sacked at the probably around the 30-yard line, and then Castillo Castillo missed his first field goal attempt. It was a 47-yard field goal attempt that was slightly wide right, and then but Montreal ran the ball back to the 5-yard line instead of taking the rouge, which
Never
I
a good
thought
idea to
was
do that.
it was interesting. There was a lot of interesting decisions made by both sides in this game too that I thought was weird, but
Well, I guess in
that
a
was
mean nothing game for Montreal, they're going to try something, right? Might as well try some trick plays or
trick plays,
anything
which
when there's no risk for you.
yeah, but they they got out to the 5-yard line, and unfortunately, here Montreal goes 2-and-out again with a wide incompletion, and then it makes it easy, good field position for Winnipeg as Whitehead returned the punt to the 42. Uh, Winnipeg does get it back to the red zone, but yeah, it was just Lalo almost had a touchdown catch, but he kind of sailed out of the end zone, and then Castillo doesn't miss this one, obviously, so it goes up three. They go up 3-0, and then Montreal gets the ball back, and then there's a bunch of there's a couple of conversions of first down, but yeah, Winnipeg's defense holds it down, and then Maltos kicks a tough 45-yard field goal. Like the wind was whipping a little bit at this time, and that was kind of an omen of what was to come, right? But it was whipping a little bit, but yeah, Maltos did get that field goal to tie the game at 3, and then yeah, Winnipeg gets the ball back until the end of the first quarter, really, because well, there was a first down conversion by Dembski to convert on 2nd and 4 to end the first quarter, and then when the second quarter started, uh, well, yeah, Decoy, which was a defender on Montreal, prevented Ontario Wilson on converting a quick hitter on 2nd down. So, Winnipeg gets another long field goal attempt. That's good as Winnipeg takes the lead 6-3, and then on Montreal's next drive. Here's why I thought, Montreal might actually be able to win this one, because there was multiple. There was a couple of long, throws by Fajardo, including a Thomas Erlington trucking one on foot. Like he dragged a bunch of Winnipeg defenders with him to 40. That was a really good run, but yeah, it eventually ends up with Rambo immediately. It felt like it was immediately scoring a touchdown catch, take the lead 10-6. Right, so that was a good response drive to the field goal, and then on Winnipeg's next drive, there was a bunch of catch and runs. There was there was an offside penalty that was called on first down, but didn't matter. Uh, well, it did matter for the score, but yeah, it was just with the yardage was enough so that you could still make a good field goal out of it, and then Winnipeg does make a field goal here. It was a 51-yard field goal here to shorten the lead to 10-9, and then on Montreal's next drive, yeah, there was a couple first down, but then there was a punt, and then yeah, it was basically just back and forth, just drives dying at midfield, and then at the end of the second quarter, Montreal makes good on a field goal here to end the half, and yeah, it was. Well, there was that, and also there was also I think there was also two receivers on the Bombers that got over 1,000 yards receiving in this game. So I mean, they just achieved 1,000 yards receiving, right? There was just the one before that. Now we have 3,000 yard receivers. I mean, I also noticed that Winnipeg was actually next to bottom of the league in terms of net yardage per game, which it's kind of weird considering. Well, I mean, yeah, they're a first place West team now, but those are not first place stats, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, next to league worst in net yardage, and yet they're still first in the West, right? I think it just goes to show just how many times Winnipeg just loves eking out tight victories, right?
That's just how they get it done, We might all be
Yeah,
frustrated at the end, but they always make it happen. So, bah humbug.
well, it's not Christmas yet, but the
That's all I
Halloween
got.
version would be just, yeah, they're a spooky team. To quote the often annoying thing on Reddit, where you're a spooky team next year, right? uh, anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So at halftime, I I decided to just hear what the halftime was all about, and it was there that my ears perked up when Kate Boness, she announced that Randy Ambrosie was retiring as the CFL commissioner after the season's over, and uh, I don't think I don't think we're gonna get into that
Save that for another
today, but
episode, I
I
think.
think yeah, depending on I think we'll get into that in our next episode of our true thoughts about
Yeah, definitely.
well, actually either that or probably the Grey Cup episode, but yeah, we'll see.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
yeah, so that was a bit of a shocker. So yeah, and then halftime over, and in the third quarter, Montreal in the first drive of the quarter, they got a touchdown. It was looked easy enough to looked pretty easy, right? Just well, it was Fajardo that was still in the game. Like I thought it was going to be Paul for Alexander for the second half, but it was only a little bit into the third quarter he was pulled. So yeah, but Montreal took the 29 lead. Yeah, they took the 20-9 lead after that touchdown, and then uh, on Winnipeg's drive, they score a field goal to tighten the lead to 20-12, and yeah, and then on Fajardo's last possession of pretty much the regular season, he goes 2-out, and yeah, Zima he punched the ball to the 27, and Lawler had a pretty good drive. Well, Lawler had a really good catch. It was 40 yards up to the Montreal 10, and then Dembski finished the drive off and catches a touchdown to lessen the lead to 20-19. And I thought they were gonna score. They were gonna try for a 2-point combo here to tie the game, but they just ended up doing the 1 point instead, which I thought was a really curious decision there, considering how much the offense was playing well up to that point.
Well, they were throwing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in the end, it doesn't matter. They still win, but I mean, in that moment, I went like, "Oh, I could have really tied the game," but no, got a lot of faith in that defense, and yeah, that was pretty evident considering the rest of the game. So yeah, then Alexander subs in at quarterback for Fajardo. Really, um, Yeah, subs in for Fajardo, and then at the end of the third quarter, it was a 2-and-out for Montreal, and then oh, actually no, it wasn't a 2-and-out. It was yeah, he ran him throw on first down, and then when the fourth quarter started, Lindsay caught a long pass from Alexander to convert on first down, and then he got to the 2-yard line right out of the gate, and then Alexander did a QB sneak to extend the lead to 27-19. I swear my memory is better than this. Yeah, it was at that point I thought, okay, well, Montreal's got nothing to play for. Try a 2-point convert here. No, right? Because a 2-point convert would have made it a 9-point lead. It would have been a 2-possession game, right? But
That would have
yeah,
made sense.
would have made sense. But yeah, they just go conservative. They only just stick with the 8-point lead, and um
But
yeah,
no.
yeah. Back and forth drives were when there were a couple punts. I mean, Winnipeg punting was especially big here, but yeah, then Montreal had a 2-and-out, and then uh Whitehead almost had a punt return for a touchdown, which shed a tear for Terry Williams if that had counted, but yeah. Almost a punt return touchdown, but yeah, Thomas Erlington kind of dove at his feet for a shoestring tackle, which was big, and but unfortunately, it doesn't prevent the rest of the drive, well, the rest of the team from scoring. Yeah, Winnipeg ends up scoring a touchdown anyways. Well, yeah, they scored a touchdown to make it 27-25, and obviously this time they had to do a 2-point convert, but they
And that didn't
failed at
work
that.
either.
Right? Now, can you imagine if they had converted that 2-point convert? Then it would have been I think it probably would have been a Montreal game-winning field goal situation at this point, I believe, but
They would have played it differently at that point.
played it differently. Yeah, and then yeah, so Montreal's next drive, really there was only not a well, I mean, Montreal did end up converting a couple first downs, but only up to midfield. They ended up punting anyways, and then prior to the 3-minute warning, I found it funny how Oliveira kind of tripped on like the turf monster. Like he could have
Surf
whipped a
monster.
bit. He could have whipped a big run. I saw like how much open field there was ahead of him. There could have been a big run out of him, but yeah, he tripped on the turf monster. So
It's like he could have been free.
yeah,
He's dangerous, so that's big.
yeah, he only gained 5 yards. But then after the 3-minute warning, this is where I thought, oh, Peggy suffering something of which we've been victims of, right? Because there was well, yeah, the Winnipeg receiver, I forgot who it was, but he dropped the ball and it just bounced off the turf, but on replay, but at live speed, it looked like the ball bounced off of the Montreal defender, like lying on his stomach, like it bounced off his back and then into the waiting arms of Beverett, like for near fluky interception. But yeah, we've been
Almost
like,
a Will
yeah, that's what
Stanback.
we've been victim of in Winnipeg, huh? Right? Yeah. Uh, but unfortunately, on replay, it was called back because it was incomplete. So yeah, God's kind of intervening on that one too. Uh, yeah, and then but because of that, it was because it was ruled incomplete on second down, there had to be third down instead. So yeah, so they punted it, and then um yeah, they punted it, and then yeah, Montreal punted it. It was really like back and forth punts up until uh really like 40 seconds. This was after Castillo missed like a 61-yard field goal
I was
in the
yelling at the
swirling
TV about
wind.
that. I have no idea why they attempted it from that far out.
That distance with that wind, yeah. So yeah, he missed a really long field
Wind at the
goal, and then
time.
yeah,
Time, little foreshadowing.
time foreshadowing, and then
Yep.
yeah, so yeah, so and then I saw Montreal was like basically, I think on that they were just trying to milk the clock out as best they can. I mean, they ended up going 2-0, and then up until the 42nd mark, and then here's the big moment in the game where there was. I mean, outside of that swirling wind in the first quarter, like I had no reason to suspect the wind would like really intensify. That like really like intensify that much, and then it was comical with as the camera panned out to reveal the field. Like then I started seeing stuff blow into the field. I started seeing like a lot of random detritus and flags and paper and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my god, this wind! What the hell?
Just came out and completely out of nowhere.
Completely out of nowhere. And I put in all caps as the weather and the wind suddenly intensifies at the right moment for the putt to deaden. I thought it was deadened, but then I remembered. Oh wait, yeah, it was also a shanked kick, right? So it was like everything
Well,
going right.
the wind probably caused it.
The wind probably cost a little bit, but yeah, it was a shanked punt enough
Only
for Winnipeg
influenced
to
it.
get in decent field goal range, right? And then
And then that
yeah,
was all she wrote.
and then yeah, I put it yeah,
Frustrating game.
as Castillo nails a 52-yard field goal of the wind's help for a walk-off field goal to clinch the Western Conference final and host another
Western,
Western Conference final, right?
that
The
was
What you
fifth
call
straight
pure
year,
terror.
pure luck.
Yeah.
pure luck.
They came on at the right
2027.
time. Would I say that overall they deserve to win the West? Yeah, I probably would. But it's just
Well,
frustrating given that they started so poorly this year, and then you thought, oh, this is finally going to be they don't do it. And then, of course, they come on later and they do it anyway.
let's put it this way. I don't think any other team deserved to win the West.
Also true, yeah. The Lions
Yeah.
certainly did
So
not.
The Lions, the wide, yeah. I figure if it was really anyone that out of the crap heap that deserved to win this division, it was Winnipeg, right? And clearly it was. Again, yeah, they were really taking advantage of Saskatchewan and BC's struggles down the stretch, right? And it was just and not a whole lot of the Eastern teams helping us out either, right? It was the
I said this before we started the episode. But so Winnipeg ended 11-7, and I probably would have predicted if we did record predictions, I probably would have predicted Winnipeg to go 11-7 at the beginning of the year. And we all predicted BC to finish first, so we would have expected ourselves to do better than that, which
yeah.
I thought would have been reasonable judging what our expectations were. So it's just an unfortunate string of events happening. Um, Another way to say it was a missed opportunity, but
You could say
Mhm.
the
that.
opportunity, it's right in front of us now. So we play in Saskatchewan next week, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, or is it 3:30 p.m.? I don't know.
It's 3:30, 6:30
3:30
Eastern.
because the
Oh, okay.
the Eastern semifinals always first. So yeah, one of the later game. uh
Okay. I'll
Which means
be
that
yeah.
we'll
I'll be
be
watching.
playing ahead of another Canucks game again. So there you go.
Yeah. They'll be playing the Sharks that night, so
That's going to be
that
quite an underwhelming.
might not be a worthwhile watch.
No, yeah, that's going to be a Sharks and then Ducks, 2 games in a row. That's going to suck.
I wonder. I wonder are the Sens playing on that Saturday too? Because they're not today. Because I have a
Let me
lot of
see.
I have a lot of swear words after yesterday's
Yeah,
game.
they're playing at 4 next week against the Kraken.
Okay,
Kraken. Oh.
so yeah, you're rooting for Ottawa at that time too. So
In
uh,
terms of hockey, I think we're all pleased, except for, if we recorded this 2 days ago. But see how the Canucks do tonight. The Sens play tomorrow against the Avs. Avs are heavily injured, so I feel like the Sens could win that game.
But you never
mm,
know in this day and age
I
anymore.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
We don't want anyone to get injured. I don't want it to sound like I want anyone to get injured because I don't.
yeah. I
Either way,
just
but
I don't think. Well, I guess going back to the CFL, I don't think anyone in the Bombers really. I mean, there was a bit of an injury scare for Ontario Wilson, but I think it was because there was just one tackle where he kind of landed his chest or abdomen on the football and it kind of hurt his ribs, right? But I think
Yeah,
he,
those are
yeah,
always the
definitely,
scary ones. You hate to see
yeah,
that.
just yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I guess to Winnipeg it was a semi-meaningless game where it was they've already have a playoff home date locked up, but it was
Mhm.
they wanted that bye week and they got it, so great, great.
Yippee!
We got our bye week, so the boys better be working hard.
Yeah, we
Absolutely
have our
love it.
bye week,
We
and
needed
you
we
know, as
needed
is
it at this
tradition,
time.
yeah, as is tradition now, yeah, we've got our final 6 questions of the wheel today, so
Hmm.
gotta get our thinking caps on for these ones. So
Thinking caps. I wonder. So I've probably been in like 15 plus episodes this season. I wonder how many different hats I've worn. Just
Have to go
I
back and
have a
look
lot of
at it.
hats. So you guys have only worn Lions hats.
I only
I've
wore
worn a
one.
I've worn a variety of
I
hats.
think yeah, I wore a Sens hat at one point. I think. Oh no,
Mhm.
no, it was a shirt.
I have a
Yeah.
Canucks
Oh
hat here, but it's too small, so I'm not going to put it on. As I'm literally going to squeeze my brains out of my head, so I'm not going to do that.
yeah. Well, my hats are pretty well fitted, so I'm no head squeezing today. Uh,
Love
so
New Era
yeah.
brand.
So yeah, I'll yeah, I'll do that for you. Yeah, I'll probably do the statistics for what kind of different combinations of hats or clothing, right?
That might be
Like
a
I know I
fun one for
wore
the
the
next
blue
game.
shirt of depression a few times, right?
Uh,
Uh,
Hopefully next season we won't have to wear black too much.
Yeah, really.
yep.
Maybe after the next episode, if the Lions lose, we can all wear black because it'll be a funeral for their
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do that.
I'm wearing the winners hats because obviously we're still BC still won last week, so yeah, I'll still be one of the winners so far. Hopefully, Vancouver beats Pittsburgh tonight, but
That'd be
Just
nice.
just
so
W.
yeah, let's see what our first question is.
Let's
Oh yeah, and
go.
also I also had to do a different wheel because my other one kind of crashed. Or oh
Oh, well, at least we
oh
still
boy,
put it this time.
oh this should be a fun one. Okay, uh, favorite local restaurant. I had to
Hmm.
favorite local restaurant. I
Local.
had to change that from a Canucks question because I realized I already asked that before, so I had to change it
Favorite
to a
local
favorite local
restaurant.
restaurant. For me, I'm gonna have to go with the White Spot on North Road. I like that restaurant a lot. I go to that often. Uh, I always get the BC chicken burger at White Spot too, with poutine side as well. So yeah, the poutine's pretty good too. So uh,
I'm trying to think of something that's just a one-off restaurant rather than a chain. The truth is, in Vancouver, I mostly go to chain places.
It's
Um,
okay. I allow you to say Mary Brown's.
I was not going to say that. I've had that a little too much lately. Probably Bin 4 Burgers. I think I mentioned them before. There's a
Oh
location
yeah.
that's not that far from where I live here. And it's funny because we used to have Ricky's there, and I used to always
uh,
love Ricky's, but then the Ricky's, I don't know, they
mhm.
went bankrupt or something. Now Bin 4 is there, and Bin 4 is really good. So there you go, Bin 4.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
me,
going to
Jacob,
Ricky's
and
in Vancouver as well. It was near the Stadium SkyTrain station. There was one. Uh,
oh,
I went
There
there a
you
few
go.
times, but okay. Well, what's yours, Hammer? You got a
I just
bunch.
want to say,
So,
so me, Jacob, and two others after Touchdown Pacific, we went to Bin 4 and I really enjoyed it. Locally, it's only fast food. So like today I went to my local McDonald's and
There you
stuff,
go.
but I'll do this one a little differently. So obviously I go to Douglas College and great local place is Spud Shack at the New West
Bud
Station.
Oh,
Shack,
I
yes.
keep
Yeah,
hearing about this. I have to try it.
yeah. And I know Ascent, you we used to go there after exams, and I went there
Mhm.
after my exam last week. So it's amazing. Great poutines. I've gone there a couple times. I'm going to continue going there as long as I'm at Douglas College. So recommend it to anyone who's in New West.
I'll have to
Yeah,
pop by
and
and try it.
also a tip for also a tip to if you're going to go to a Spot Shack, go on Mondays because they have half off
Mhm.
poutines every Monday. So
Oh, there you
got
go.
to take
Okay.
advantage of that too.
I was all
Yeah.
excited before I remembered that I hate poutine. So there
Well,
you
you're in the
All
go.
right.
minority, that's for sure.
Carry on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The poutines in one spot are good, but yeah, the Spud Shack, their specialty is poutine, right? So, it's not a side; it's a main dish, though. So, yeah, they got everything. Okay, so number two.
While you're spinning, I'll just say it's 1-0 Dodgers right now.
Oh,
Oh no! Oh, here it
Hmm?
is.
Is
It's
it
the
the Moai?
Moai.
The Moai question.
Moai. I'll probably just edit in like a little. I'll probably just edit in like
Moai.
a little
a
Moai
Moai
emoji.
graphic. There you go. Dun, dun,
above us for
dun.
this, just to note what it is. So how this question works is that we're going to go in alphabetical order and asking each other like any question we want, as long as it's PG-13. uh,
PG-13, yeah, no, no funny numbers.
and no funny numbers, no funny questions. Well, I mean, you could have funny questions, that's not the
Just
funniest
keep it
questions.
PG-13. There you go.
Ascent, you'll ask
uh,
me first, then I'll ask Jacob, and then go the other way.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, so my question to you, Hammer, I've hinted at this in our last episode, from when I was talking about questions that going out of left field, if you remember me saying that.
Hmm.
Uh, you've been to a few baseball stadiums now. What was your favorite
Oh,
baseball experience?
There you
what
go.
was my
Good
favorite? Okay,
question.
favorite stadium or experience?
Well, both actually, your favorite stadium and experience. Right, just
Because this is a good question, and it's something I do think about because my dad and I talk about it a lot. So I'll give some context. I've been to my favorite team, the Rogers Center, the T-Mobile Park in Seattle. I've been to both San Francisco, Oakland. Then this year I went to Philadelphia, Chicago, Chicago Cubs,
mm,
Milwaukee, and I feel like I'm missing one. I am definitely missing one.
That's
Um,
a lot. Wow, good for you.
Philadelphia. Okay, I love that too. My favorite baseball experience was the Oakland Coliseum, and this was the year before they relocated, but it was just such an authentic baseball experience at the Coliseum. Um, you were going through that walkway from the train. You get all these vendors and people who know the team so well. The ushers, they're like, they're old men, old ladies, but they've been around
been
baseball
around
their
for a
whole
long
lives.
time. Yeah, yeah.
It added to the sadness of it because they were relocating, but it was just such a great experience. And it's similar to what you get at Wrigley Field, like old ushers and stuff, but it's a lot more modernized at Wrigley Field. But just going to all these ballparks, there's so many great experiences. I liked Philadelphia. I like they have such a cool fan base. Milwaukee, Seattle. Seattle's a great ballpark. I think of all the
Yep.
ballparks I've been to, Seattle was the best. It's the nicest, except I hate the Seattle Mariners the most. So there's a lot of contradictory factors here.
For a lot of,
Um,
yeah, it's like me it's like me if I was going to go to a Penguin game, and because I know
mhm.
that well, PPG Paints Arena is a pretty good hockey watching experience, but I don't like the team though. So,
Yeah,
but
you've
yeah,
been to Climate Pledge Arena, so have I, and I don't know if we
yep.
hate the Kraken because they're fairly new, but that's an amazing arena. So
Yes, I would
yeah.
agree. Yeah, me and my
Mhm.
dad would agree with you on that too. So, yeah, I've well, I asked that question because again, yeah, again,
Good
I've
question.
known, yeah,
Very
yeah,
one
good. Now
indeed.
you've been to like pretty much a sizable percentage of stadiums in a league. It's now going to be short one next year, unfortunately. Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, I'm
I
happy that
I
you
say
at
right
least
now
got
that
to, yeah, right
uh,
now, but we'll see. But I mean,
me too. Four of the five California stadiums, but it's actually oh, I've not even been to San Diego. My dad's been there. I keep thinking I have, but it's gonna be two of them now. And Oakland's gone. So good
yeah,
There
question.
you go. That was a good question.
okay.
Yeah.
So Seattle is the best in, in terms of ball experience, and yeah, as long as it's not 25 plus degrees, it's not
Mm.
unbearable temperatures like what I've been through for a
Yeah.
few years.
A lot
Uh,
of my hate for the Mariners comes from the Blue Jays losing every time we go there. But as far as ballpark, it's just such a great experience over there.
mhm. Okay, so yeah, let's do your question to JS if you.
My question for you, Jacob, I don't really have a structure for this question, but
Oh no.
you lived in both Victoria and Vancouver.
Yeah.
So I guess not really which one you prefer, but are there things that you prefer living in Vancouver or Victoria? I'm sure you could elaborate on this. I've not really structured this question well, but
Well, I would
yeah.
say Victoria is a lot quieter, which is really nice for someone like me who doesn't like the big rush of the rat race.
Are you sure it's quieter now because it's pretty windy? Last I checked.
Yeah, it's pretty they had a pretty big windstorm apparently, but and then I think it was supposed to come here too, I don't know, but definitely it's a lot quieter. The people actually drive the speed limit, which is nice. The buses are more reliable. But then the probably the big downside is a lot of the kind of what's the word? The fun stuff, the exciting stuff happens on the mainland, like the sporting events. I don't know if people, I don't really go to concerts, but like
Touchdown Pacific,
the
not included.
festival. Yeah, take that as the festivals. Some of the bigger restaurant chains are mostly in Vancouver. And yeah, so there's a bit of both ultimately. So but both of them are good choices. If you're lucky enough to be able to visit Victoria, you should. In terms
Mhm.
of and in terms of cost, they're both outrageously expensive to live in. So that plays no factor in my decision ultimately.
I know all of us like loved our experience at Touchdown Pacific, and I had
Hopefully,
about
Yes.
th 3 days there just to walk downtown, and I think that was a good enough time to see all of it. And I know Vancouver's just huge; you could see everything you wanted here. But yeah, I
let's
guess
hope
good
that in
perspective on how
hope
small
that
it is.
they'll do another one next year or
Hmm.
in the future. Okay, now
Yes.
I guess it's time for my question now.
Yeah.
I did not write this. I will tell you who did write it after the fact.
Oh,
This is
who?
a funny one.
Oh boy.
If you were
Okay.
a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why?
Huh. Uh, I wasn't
Kitchen
expecting that
appliance.
one. Geez. Uh, well, I'm looking around, and I'd probably say I'd like to be a microwave because I can tell the time. I can heat up stuff pretty quick,
Oh,
and
nice.
and
There you go.
also I make also I'm I go for a living right there.
There you
So
go.
It's amazing.
And now I will reveal I've been playing around with this a lot lately, so it was ChatGPT who wrote that question. I thought, you know
oh
what, I'm gonna see what kind of question it'll give me, and it gave me that. So there you go.
oh technically that's not a question from you, then it's from AI. It's
There you go.
and
Well, I don't know if I had any intelligence, so maybe artificial intelligence is better than no intelligence.
no intelligence. Well,
There
uh,
you go.
okay, I
Great
was
addition.
yeah, I was that was that was like one of those questions I got asked on a game show, like on the Family Feud or something.
Or like one of those icebreaker questions they ask at some event you're at and nobody wants to
Or
talk.
that too, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I don't mind icebreaker questions. I mean, like I said in the last bonus episode, my default icebreaker answer would be I was in a movie. So,
There you go.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I remember way back when I was at some event and they asked if you could take any form of transportation, what would you do? And obviously they were thinking of something creative or cool, right? And I said I would take the bus. So that tells you how creative I am about
mm,
things.
oh, I did a microwave noise. Mm.
Tells you strong things
Uh,
about your beliefs.
There you go.
actually, you know what I would take? I would take the Willy Wonka, the elevator at the end of the Willy Wonka movie.
There you go.
That's
Oh
my kind
yeah,
of transportation
that's
right there.
creative thinking.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I could just go anywhere in my elevator because I'm used to taking elevators anyways, right? So I have to take elevators, right? But yeah, I love an elevator. That'll just take me to wherever I want. I just free of charge.
Wouldn't that be
Oh, the
nice?
dream. Okay, let's go for question number three. So yeah, the Moai question was
It
a
was
good
fun.
one.
Yeah. I want to add one thing to your thing, Jacob. I think that's something like a teacher or professor would say on the first day to like just get people talking. But it was really
Absolutely.
funny.
There you go.
Props to both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's stop. Okay. All right, so I had to. Okay, so I did this one from memory for like another wheel app because the other one I was using for the past two episodes was shut down in a moment. But yeah, so
Oh
this
no.
one is worst Canucks loss you've experienced in watching the team.
In person or
Uh,
doesn't matter?
doesn't matter. For me, I think the worst Canucks loss I've seen was on TV was uh I mean the playoffs might be an easy one. I'm gonna go with like a regular season one where I remember the Washington Capitals coming back from
Mhm.
like a 5-1 deficit
5-1. Yeah.
to be Vancouver. Was either that or a 7-2 Islanders game where they scored like 7 goals in the third period or something, right? It was uh a bunch of goals in the third period, and that was like one of the worst regular season Canucks losses I've watched in full, right? I wanted to stick through that, but I regret doing so. Yeah, so yeah, with
It's
the
bad. Yeah.
blown 5-1 lead to the Capitals, or
I
it's
think
a
I was
tie
at
between that
I think I
and
was at
the
that game.
Islanders scoring
Oh
7 in the
no.
third period.
I
Yeah.
remember that one too. That one was horrible.
Okay,
My turn.
Go for
yeah,
it.
your turn.
Um, so I'll give you three answers. The first two will be very short. So I mean, obviously, losing Game 7 last year was pretty bad, so I won't get over that. I
Game seven's
also
always. Oh,
came up in my memories. I think it was 2 days ago, but 2 days ago was 2 years since me and Jacob went to the seventh straight loss to begin the 2021-22
oh.
season, or the
That
season
was,
after. But
I remember that. It was Carolina, wasn't it?
yeah, it was Carolina, and that was one of those games. I usually go to a game and I leave, and I just win or lose, it's fun. But that game was awful.
It
Um,
was
Oh,
just
misery, yeah.
horrible.
my
That's
worst
why
game
that's
ever.
why I go to Ottawa versus Vancouver games, so I'm never
You
miserable.
can't lose.
I'm only half miserable.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, I was at the second game of the season, Canucks versus Flyers, and I went to that game because they blew the Wednesday game, which I was at. So they blew that game so badly. I just wanted to see them win on the Friday, and they
Which
blew
we
that
did.
one in the shootout. So I had two friends that were sitting a row in front of me, and they were looking at me when DeBrusk came up to shoot in the shootout because you know how much I love DeBrusk. He
Yes.
scored the goal, and I was like going crazy. Like I'd never celebrate anything so hard. And then right after that, Konechny walks in, ties the shootout, and I'm just like dead. And it
Never
goes
have
in.
happiness for too long, right?
Yep. And then I'm
Yeah.
just nervous. They go three more rounds and they lose. Um, I'm kind of scarred from that. I still think about that game. I'm like,
It comes with experience how you get a lot of scars from uh, really bad losses or
yeah,
collapses. I didn't really feel anything with when well, Calgary came back to win that game against Vancouver in the first game of the season. Right? I was like, I hate Alberta teams,
I
but
was telling my friends after the game, I'm like, I literally told them this. I'm like, are we going to be like the BC Lions? Because this is two games that we could have won, and this is a team that can win games. We're not winning games. So,
Incredibly frustrating to watch.
we have if Vancouver does turn out to be the BC Lions, it'll be like a little bit outside of the playoff picture instead of in the playoffs, right? Because
mm,
you can make the playoffs in football with a 500 record. You can't do that in hockey.
no.
Right?
I mean,
uh,
theoretically you
Good thing
could,
though,
but most likely not.
yeah.
we're on a 3 game win streak now, going for four. They play in an hour, so looking forward to that.
After they
Okay,
lost the
so
first two games in a shootout, I had this joke that they're gonna get all 82 of their games to overtime, and then if they had won, say, 20 of those 80, they'd be in the playoffs. So they could have gone 20-0 and 62 and still made the playoffs.
oh my god, that would be
If they had done that, they
unbearable.
would get rid of the loser point. So there you go.
Yeah, they
I
would have.
yeah, but I mean, intentionally just constantly tying games or letting the tie game go. Uh, that's that'd be weird. So yeah, JS, what's your worst Canucks loss you've seen? I guess for the caveat being, well, playoffs would be an easy answer, but if you can think of a regular season game, that'd be better. Uh,
Uh, Probably. I don't want to
Just
say
gave you
game seven.
two.
I want to say game seven against Boston because that's the obvious answer.
Mm.
There
yeah,
was
I would also. Oh yeah, I would. Oh yeah, I would also say the Heritage Classic against Ottawa in
that was
2014.
terrible.
That was yeah. They had a
Probably
2-0 lead, and then yeah,
I think it
blew it.
was the game the one that I'm thinking of is the game against LA in 2012 when they lost to the Kings in five. Game five of that series because they just won the President's Trophy again a year after going to the final. We thought, oh, they're gonna go on this nice long run. And then they fell behind 3-0 to the Kings. We thought, okay, they just had a bad start. They won game four in LA. Huge third period. They scored on a penalty shot. Or no, they stopped a penalty shot rather. And then they came home for game five and I thought, okay, they just got to win this game. And it goes back for game six and we're good. They lost in overtime and I was crushed. Little 12-year-old Jacob was crushed.
Yeah, any playoff
And
losing. Well, if there's one thing I was at least a little happy about it that last year's playoff in Game 7 losing the Oilers with that. I am so glad that they didn't get our hopes up like completely by coming back to tying the game and then losing an OT. That would be an
That would have
ultimate
been
heartbreaker.
just yeah, horrible, horrible,
Yep.
horrible.
Actually, yeah, it would have echoed 2017 Eastern Conference final for me. Like, because
Oh,
I
I remember
remember,
that one
yeah,
too. Yeah.
Ottawa was down 2-1 until late in the third when Ryan Domingo scored to tie it, and then it went all the way to 2 OT, and then Chris Kunitz. uh,
Lost
yeah,
there.
I had my hopes up for that game, and it was expertly dashed, right, and that broke me, right, that completely broke me.
That's how hockey goes.
But
It really does.
and pretty much from now on out, like anytime a team I cheer for goes to a 7th game, I'm like, they're not winning game 7. No, I'm not getting my hopes up ever again.
That's the better way. Protect yourself from heartbreak.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for third question. Almost done here.
While the wheel is spinning, I'll also say that Teoscar Hernandez has hit a home run for the Dodgers. It's 4-1 for them.
Oh, there you
Oh
go.
man. Oh, yeah.
About
Woo.
how I feel. Yeah, I'm happy for him though. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't want the Yankees any more happiness, right? But
Hmm.
uh, okay. So yeah, now we're down to 2, and now this question is: what's your favorite CFL play-by-play duo? This is an easy one for me. It's Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter of the
I agree.
2010s, right?
Chris Cuthbert. Wow. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
blast from the past.
All I have to say is I think since him and Rod Black left, the quality of the play-by-play on the CFL and PSN has tanked quite a lot. The new guys, maybe it's just me
I
being a
still like Rod Smith
Rod
though,
Smith
but
is all right. Maybe it's just me being like a boomer and being needlessly mad at the new guys, but the quality has gone way down. If they can find a way to make an AI version of Chris Cuthbert to do the games instead of
oh no.
whoever we're stuck with now, I don't even know their names.
Okay,
Like
calm down, Elon Musk. Or
I
CFL
will give
Elon
them
Bring him
Musk.
back for the Grey Cup.
I will give them $1 million if they can do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chris Cuthbert's happily doing hockey broadcasts now. I mean, he's well, released games mostly, unfortunately, but
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
Come back.
yeah, come back
Um,
to CFL, please. It's back on the CTV now, so
Funny thing for me is that I'm so bad at knowing the broadcaster names because I'm at half of the games. So I don't even listen to the broadcast more than half of the time. So you'll have to
oh,
ask me this question next year. Um,
when you're at
I'd
home
say,
more. Uh,
yeah, I love
well,
for an
yeah.
analogy because he's biased towards the Lions.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, he did okay in the intervening BC Lions games, like especially after touchdown Pacific, really. But yeah, there was a few times where I thought he was like jinxing the Lions a little too much, right? And
Mhm.
it happened with Hamilton, right? He
With the
was
only thing on his
doing,
mind.
yeah, yeah. So I guess yeah, Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter, like they were my voices for most of, well, yeah, from really elementary school up until 2019. I think that was the last time he was doing a CFL game, and then he went to Sportsnet full time after that. Ever
Yeah,
since, so
miss him.
yeah, I could. Well, yeah, I mean, again, we can sing our praises or just have our criticisms about play-by-play commentary, but I probably wouldn't be doing as good. I wouldn't be a really good one.
Oh yeah,
Be
they do a
stuttering all
great
the
job.
time. Like,
Definitely.
yeah, and I would probably need binoculars to see the numbers because they're pretty tiny. Okay, so we got the last two, and one of them's well, the last two, it's one of them's a Lions question. The other it's just a general question. So let's see what we get first. Uh, so the okay, so the Mister. Oh yeah, the last question. I'm going to call that the Mister Irrelevant question because it's picked last out of all the questions. That's uh, well, yeah. The very last question will be favorite in-person Lions game, which is fitting. But yeah,
Hmm.
this question is what's your favorite music genre? Uh,
Oh boy.
I asked about movies a couple bonus episodes ago, and I go music genres go. So for me, it's classical music and jazz music is what I listen to the most
Basically
often.
stole my
Right? It's
answer.
I'm more of an easy listening kind of person than
Are you
you
a
know.
psychic?
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh yeah, it does. Because got wood everywhere, and I've got yeah, it's it's a chill room in here, right? I'm not just because of the temperature outside. It's uh yeah, classical music and jazz. Like I sometimes I even listen to that going to sleep. Right? It's just I like having things as chill as I can in my house up until sports games when I'm all fired up and revved up for that way. Like the calm before the storm. Right?
You never go
Uh,
wrong with that.
okay.
Oh boy. Asking me about music genre, so I have my Spotify open right here. I can't even
Oh,
tell you what my favorite music genre is. Um,
you can
because
go for
it's
song
everything. It's whatever I feel like at the moment.
whenever you
Like
feel like it.
it could be Taylor Swift sometimes. It could be like metal music. I like game soundtracks. A lot of like my main
Game
playlists are
soundtracks. Yeah.
like it could be the MLB The Show or FIFA 19 soundtrack. I listen to FIFA 19. That's a great soundtrack. Um I couldn't even give you an answer. Like you'd have a bunch of lo-fi music here for when I study. It's all over the place. So
Oh,
that's like
you do
give
the
as vague
lo-fi
as an
study
answer.
music too.
Yeah,
uh,
I
I
know.
did that too. Well, it wasn't really lo-fi, but again, it was classical music that made me like 20,000 times smarter than that's like the
You know,
smart juice, right?
that's
Actually, I
probably
think
good stuff for studying.
yeah, I think there was also there might have been some studies where actually listening to classical music does make you a lot more or
Mm.
either attentive or at least it makes your memory better, right? Just because uh, it'll make you a little smarter, not a whole lot, but just that's an interesting thing about human biology about reacting to sounds that way. But yeah, again, I kind of purposely made that a general like question, like as broad as I can make it to be, right? But yeah. That's the downfall about a broad question is that yeah, there might be some times where it'll be hard to figure that out, right? So JS, give it a shot.
Yeah, I'd have to go with probably classical as well. I used to play them on the piano back in the day, and yeah, kind of. I swear I'm not copying you. You're just psychic and you're stealing all my answers.
Yeah, oh my God. Well, man, I'll probably have to use my psychic powers to defeat Trevor Harris next week, but
We need that.
it'll be a battle. It'll be a battle of wits, literally.
It'll
Indeed.
come from episode 0, a bit of a full circle moment.
There you
Full
go.
circle moment to finally defeat the Trevor Harris specter. Yeah, make him stop choking me after I drink water or something like that. Uh, so yeah, so I mean that brings us to our final question of the bonus episodes, and that was yeah, favorite in person or on TV BC Lions game. Uh, um, I guess
Oh,
well, I can do both here actually. My favorite in person Lions game was definitely the genesis of our podcast, right? Like the first time all of us met at a Lions game. Right? It was a boring game though, but I think it was my favorite just for that alone, right? Just for us to come together and so I can prove to I can prove to my parents that yes, I have friends in the Vancouver area, right? Like all
That
of my friends are not out in the US or anything. Like I have
there
some
you
here
go.
too, right?
that
Right?
game is that might also be my answer too. Sorry if I cut you off. You can keep going, but
No, I didn't. Yeah.
that picture was amazing. All four of us. And I know we have a couple more down the road. We might have another at the Grey Cup coming up only
Yeah.
in 3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
As my
Wow.
throat gets
Yeah.
a little stuffed up. I don't know what I that might be my best memory. And I'd been thinking about that for weeks after it happened, and I almost forgot that we lost that game pretty badly. Um, it was so fun meeting you all that first time. But yeah,
That was
I
great.
Yeah.
hope the Grey Cup gives us another experience to put on this list.
Another
Oh,
experience I will
Touchdown
never
Pacific. Let's
forget.
put
Right?
that
Yeah.
there. Sorry.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
touchdown Pacific is another good one too. So that's yeah. In terms of input, it's kind of funny how yeah. I mean that like our recent games that we've attended are my favorite, rather than all the numerous ones I've attended before that, including multiple Grey Cups, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In
New
terms
era
of
of Lions football.
yeah, in terms of a friendship bonding experience, those are my favorite. But outside of that, I'd say my favorite in-person game was getting to see the Grey Cup in Regina in 2013. Even
That's
though,
pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, because the weather. I mean, it was chilly, yes, but it wasn't like as bad as it was literally the day I arrived. Like the day I arrived, it was -20, and then it warmed up completely to a manageable 0 degrees for the Grey Cup game. It was much better.
0 degrees.
Manageable for me.
Um,
Yeah, because it hurts me to breathe in -20 degree air, right? It was that foreign to me. uh, I was so used to just my winters being only really at its coldest being 3 or 4 degrees, never -20 until last year, actually, or 2 years ago. It did get pretty cold around here 2 years ago, but yeah, that those are more rare, right, than constantly in the prairies where the winters are really cold. Yeah. So, anything else I want to say about just I guess outside of these games? I mean, I said yeah, my 2013 Grey Cup was a really good experience for me too. Uh,
Well,
uh,
I'm going to my first Grey Cup, so and
me
I'm
too.
glad to have both of you going to the same Grey Cup. I'll be
yeah,
going with my dad, who's been to I think 4 Grey Cups,
There
so
you go.
that's fun.
And
I hope to
I
go to many more in the future.
absolutely think
yeah. My
maybe
dad's my dad's been to about six now. Well, this is going to be a sixth.
nice.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the first one being in the '80s, when unfortunately I think the Lions lost the Argos, I believe. Hope that doesn't happen again. Uh,
I was just
um,
thinking for mine, I was gonna like those are all really good answers. I think I'm gonna, make us laugh a little bit. I'm not gonna
oh
talk about
no.
my favorite, but the most memorable. And this was last year, July, at BMO Field in Toronto. I had done my
Oh,
amazing CFL trip, a weekend game in Montreal on the Friday, or sorry, Ottawa on the Friday, Montreal on the Saturday, Toronto on the Monday. It was a great trip. But the last game was BC at Toronto. I showed up in this very jersey and this hat,
Oh
all
my
excited to
God,
see
yeah.
my team on the road. Vernon Adams threw 6 interceptions, and we got completely demolished. I remember taking the streetcar back to Union Station that day and looking at other Lions fans on the streetcar with like puppy eyes. Like, we just got destroyed. I feel sad. And then at the
Yeah,
end of the
just
game,
hiding like
the
this,
guy
right?
I was going with, he's an Argos fan. He's great, by the way. And he said to me, "Oh, Jacob, there's your players are on the field. Want to meet them?" And I said, "I have nothing nice to say, so I'd rather not."
No, no,
And
yeah.
no, no more damning words from those, right?
that
Uh,
was the game. The game of that trip I remember the most was that one.
the worst. That actually tied into like one of the last questions, like the worst Lion loss. Oh, yeah. Oh no, it was the worst Canucks loss, but I guess it also ties into like the worst Lion loss
Given that I had
experience.
flown halfway across the
Yeah,
continent to see
just to
that
see
game,
that. Uh,
it was, yeah,
Imagine how Dallas Cowboys fans feel going thinking that last year they're gonna beat Green Bay handily, right? And then nope,
nope.
they just trounced, right? Which I love, right? uh, anyways, yeah, that's yeah. So
There you
that was a
go.
really awesome 3 rounds of wheel questions, right? And
It
I
was.
learned,
Yeah.
That was
I think
fun.
we learned a lot about each other here,
I hope
sports
all our
wise, for the
listeners
most
did
part.
too.
Yeah, listeners too, and yeah, I guess for some final notes, I will say that I think we'll also I also want us to talk about our season predictions. That I mean, I was the one that committed to making like my own season predictions, but I don't think you two didn't really think about it until I brought it up a little later.
I just know I didn't do good.
Hmm.
That's all I have to
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
uh,
the one
uh,
that mattered didn't do well.
Yeah, well, yeah, the one that mattered. Yeah, well, that was
Which is not
probably
good.
yeah, mine, but it was also Simba also did his own prediction, but he's not here with us, and probably not for like I hope he'll be around for the next season, but we'll see. Be nice to have him around. I do
Would
miss
be.
him. But
Absolutely.
uh anyways, let me just find my thing. Just take a bit.
Oh, pretty soon I'll be watching the Canucks game. Can't wait for
Me
that.
too. That's gonna be fun.
Honestly, after the team winning 3 games and taking 4 days off, it doesn't feel like momentum is gone, but just like excitement is gone. Or I kind of stayed excited the whole week too. So,
Hopefully that will not end up being true. So
Oh, here we
fingers
go.
mhm.
crossed.
Okay, I found it. Okay, so my yeah, my damn it, I lost it. I was going. Oh, there you go. Okay, kind of live scrolling through it. Okay, so my prediction was I had BC at number 1, Winnipeg at number 2, Saskatchewan at number 3, Edmonton at number 4, Calgary at number 5 in the West, and then in the East, I have Montreal at number 1, Ottawa at number 2, Toronto at number 3, and Hamilton at number 4. So up until the last 2 weeks of the season, I was 99% correct, right? Uh, until these last 2 weeks, and yeah, I was wrong off a little bit by, and the most I was wrong about was BC by 2 places, right? And uh, I got Edmonton and Calgary right. I got Montreal right. I got Hamilton right. But Toronto and Ottawa basically flipped. And then yeah, Saskatchewan's at number 2, BC's at number 3, and yeah, Winnipeg's at the top.
The
But
Red
if
Blacks really imploded, losing 5 of 6 to end, or not to end the year, but 5 of 6 in the second half of the season. So, they probably should have been the second, and I thought they were going to for the longest time, but
They kind of melted down there towards the end.
it flipped in your favor.
just like us, yeah, and I guess I can say, actually, I'm going to Simba's prediction. I'll save this for him. He said, here's mine, completely random. Winnipeg at number 1, BC at number 2, Edmonton at
Oh,
number 3. No, Saskatchewan at number 4. No, I got. It's funny, I got Winnipeg and Calgary wrong, but the between 3 teams are. Well, no, he got Winnipeg and Calgary right, but he got the between 3 teams wrong, and then
that's funny.
There
Complete
you go.
but
randomness.
yeah, the East he actually got Toronto and Montreal right, and oh no, he got Toronto and Hamilton right, and Ottawa and Montreal wrong. Thought Ottawa was going to win the East, right? I mean, they could have, right? They had that hot start too, right? It was like neck and neck with Montreal, but yeah, I mean they kind of collapsed down the stretch. So yeah, um, yeah. So
Don't even tell me mine.
I don't think I see yours. Oh,
I didn't, I think I predicted them verbally, but I was something very similar to yours, Ascent.
similar to mine, yeah,
Obviously predicting
probably.
the Lions first, so I think it was
Yeah,
Lions first and Elks second or something. That didn't
Elks.
happen.
Could happen next year.
I think
We'll
it could.
see.
They're on the upswing.
But yeah, but yeah, next season we're definitely going to commit our standings predictions
Yeah,
to text this time, right? And
I know.
all of us, right, this time. But yeah, yeah, I was almost correct for like 95% of the season. Then these last 3 weeks have just been like, right, you you're toast. Uh, so yeah, yeah, and then the last thing we'll talk about is I guess now that the semifinals for both sides are decided now, so it's going to be Ottawa on the road against Toronto, and then we're going to be on the road against Saskatchewan because of Winnipeg winning their game today. So okay, so for the Eastern semifinal between Ottawa and Toronto, you know what? I got a good feeling that Ottawa's going to win that. Right?
I do too, honestly.
Yeah,
They've
I'm gonna agree with you.
If there's going to be an upset next week, it's going to be in that game.
Gonna be, I
It will
hope
not be
so.
in the
Like,
Western semi. It
yeah,
could be, but I expect an upset is more likely in the Eastern semi. I think we can all
yeah,
agree on that.
I just really want Ottawa and BC in the Grey Cup. Like, that's never happened before
That'd be
in
a great
CFL
matchup.
history. Yeah, it would be two teams that have gone through, the road. Both road games would be winning both of them, and then it'll be just, yeah, be a
Um,
that'd be a
I
crazy Grey
want to.
Cup. But yeah, I want Ottawa to win that one, and I do think they will. Uh, even with their recent struggles, because I just got a feeling. Sometimes the gut feeling is all you need, right?
My
Very
gut
true.
feeling is that if we play Vernon Adams Jr., because I had a lot of confidence from last week's game against Montreal, he was balling out with
Oh
his
yeah,
offense. I think we're going to beat Saskatchewan if with Vernon Adams. I think we are going to beat Saskatchewan. Winnipeg is very hard to predict because, the last two seasons we know what happened. But as we've been saying all year, I think we can slay the dragon. And if we
That'd be
do
such a
that,
great way to end it and to be poetic.
yeah.
I can't
Well,
give
I
you a
mean,
prediction for the Grey Cup.
yeah, yeah. I think. Oh, well, I think all of us are thinking that. Well, I think we should be able to beat Saskatchewan if we do channel our team from the first game, right? Like the first game against Saskatchewan, that was really good. But if Saskatchewan jumps on us from the hop, then it's gonna. I think you're gonna have like a short episode with a playoff game because oh
We'll
boy,
just be mad.
Red faces.
red
I
faces
think
just like
Dolman,
ashamed of ourselves for believing that
yes,
this team could do something right. Uh, right
Dolman
now,
has had this season like in mind since the beginning of 2023, and I feel like this is had like the script is lining up here. I think we can do something for the team, for the fans. Just
That'd
I
be a
think we can do
really
it.
great way to end it.
it would be, yeah, I would agree with
Get the
that.
team to make a big stamp in this market. So
Mm.
I hope that'll happen.
Yeah, I think Amar Doman is like really wanting that to happen too, right? Like it'd be mucho dineros, right? uh, yeah, yeah, I think BC should be able to win that game, but I can also say with much higher confidence it's going to be a close game than a lot of people might think it would, right? Because, but I mean, again, I'm kind of saying that because I do think this team is definitely more diff. Well, it's definitely way different from the past 2 years of following the team, but I do think they can be able to eke out a tight road playoff win if they have to, right?
Mm.
Because I'm sick of seeing the team more often than not when they're on the road they lose pretty badly on road playoff games. But that's because of the crossover though. But um, yeah, I do think that they do have what it takes to keep the game at least pretty close, right? I don't think Saskatchewan's going to get another blowout win like the last time. I hope not. uh, I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys have that same feeling too, or just
We're gonna get blown out.
are you doomers?
I'm not a doomer. I think because I went to that game, I'm not gonna doom. I think for the West semi if or West final, if we make it, I might doom a bit, but there's general bit of confidence going in.
I think
we
it's
have
going
a
to be a
little bit
good
of
game next
confidence.
week.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of confidence going in Saskatchewan. And obviously, they just found out, they're going to be playing us, right? So they're not going to be coming in with like nearly, like, what, well, I guess nearly immediate confidence as we are, right? Because we came off a pretty good one against a top tier team, even Western their starters, right? Even when their heart's not in it, like we still shut them out with no touchdowns allowed, right? That should be that should give sure the CFL writers a little bit of pause to think like, okay, maybe BC can do this. Right? Uh, yeah, but we'll have to see when we get to that. I mean, yeah, we'll see on like the other side of next Saturday. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything in this episode, like more than a bonus episode usually does. But yeah, it's I gotta
We
say,
might I think we did our fair share of hockey chatter because then I could tell we enjoyed talking about hockey. So maybe we'll have, I don't know how frequent, once a month or whatever, but we could do a bonus episode in the off season where we'll give our thoughts on the hockey season, Senators, Canucks. action going around the league because I have my mind on it right now. So would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, same with maybe some NFL talk too as well. Right.
Yeah.
That's
Go
fairly
Chargers.
popular too. Yeah. Go Packers. Go Eagles. uh, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of ways that yeah. Yeah. Just because the CFL season's over doesn't mean like we're over.
Mhm.
Right for the whole year. Well, for the winter, right? Like we'll still be uploading fairly decently enough, right? But not to the frequency that we have been doing the past few months. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we'll say that not as much. So yeah,
All right.
uh, yeah. So I guess to end it off, I'll just say that yeah, it was a pleasure going through this whole season with you guys. Like I've had a lot of fun, talking about this season with you, like the ups and downs, even the downs. Right?
Been
Just
so much fun, even if the season has been tough.
it's been testing us a lot, right? But with friends, that's basically making the orders of the season a lot more tolerable, right? Rather than just sulking alone on it, or just like I only had like before the podcast, I only had like my dad to vent with about the CFL, right? But yeah,
Same with me.
Really.
no, we have each other, and that's all that
It is.
matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Uh,
fun. I can't wait to see you all at the Grey Cup.
That's going
Um,
to be
First
fantastic.
we got to get through the next 2 weeks.
And hopefully the Lions will be there, but we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
See what happened. Yeah, we're just gonna be, rooting our butts off for this game, right, and the next game, hopefully, and then yeah, Grey Cup. Yeah, I mean, no matter who's there, I think we'll still be doing like I think we'll still be doing a Western Conference final and Eastern Conference final episode, and then Grey Cup episode as well. So, uh,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but yeah, that's gonna be it for us tonight. We've got 20 minutes to go until the Canucks game's happening. So
We gotta eat in between.
There we go.
yeah, so we'll just yeah, I'll just leave you off for the season, and then yeah, we'll see you on the other side of Saturday night. So yeah, let's just leave you off of a socials. So um, I guess well, Jay, as you're back, I mean, you have to you have to do that too, right? It's
Sure, I'll roll through it. YouTube,
Classic.
Instagram at Section 214 Pod, or sorry, Twitter and Instagram at Section 214 Pod, YouTube at Section 214 BC Lions Podcast, and our email is sectiontwoforteen@gmail.com. I
yeah,
still remembered it. There you go.
still remember even yeah. I mean, it might be a little bit rusty later, but yeah, good. That's good social read off. So yeah, that's gonna be it for us today. So yeah, we'll see you around.
See you next
Bye.
time.